comes to you for the taxes, what's, I guess, the fees to have the taxes filed?
The system generates a price based on the information that I put in. So your 1040, your basic 1040 is going to start at about 125. If you have one dependent, if you have a 1099, as many forms as you have, that's how the price goes up. I'm still below the national average. You're not going to come and pay $400 or $500. It's not free, but it generates the price. I just know I'm below the national average, and I also do rider fees for your college students and your dependents that have jobs so that they can do their taxes correctly. I do them for $25.
So what's
my
up?
Senior citizens, I give them a discount.
So do you give like first time people, the people who first start with you, do you give them a tax service like that first time home buyers type thing?
No, but I do I do a $15 referral fee. So if you send someone to me, I'll give you $15 once they pay for their taxes. So once they pay for their fee, I do a $15 referral fee. But again, it's Ebonys Tax Service. I determine at the end of the day. So say like sometimes people's situation is different. Say you owe student loans or child support, it's gonna get took. You got 4 or 5 years you need to take care of. Sometimes I can make exceptions for that just to kind of help you out.
Okay. Go ahead, T.
No, go ahead.
No, I was about to say, so you can, now that's what I'm saying. So you say if that's what I'm about to say. If I owe child support this year, you can hold off on me paying child support this year?
No, I cannot.
I bet I know the state.
No, I cannot.
They're going to take theirs regardless.
They're going to get theirs.
They're going to get theirs first, right?
Yes.
Right.
No, I cannot.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
And if you owe child support and I file your taxes, they're not going to pay me my fee. Like, say you don't know that your taxes is going to get snatched. They're not going to pay me my fee. You're going to still have to owe me that tax fee.
So the tax fee is going to be the 125.
It all depends on what I charge. You'll know what I charge you before you
sign the paperwork and stuff like that.
Like I know places that people don't realize how much they pay until they even got home
or
when they got their check. No, I'm very upfront, honest. This is what it is. Because when you come in with your W-2 and your income documents, I can look at your tax return and kind of base what your refund's going to be just based on my knowledge.
So you can eyeball it and be like, you're going to get such and such back?
Okay.
That's pretty dope. You know what I'm saying? I might have to get over to Ebony Tax Service, man, so you can eyeball and see what I can get.
So what new tax changes should people be looking out for this year?
Some of and I bought my handy book. It's something that it's a go-to book.
Yeah, she thought it was what's it when you go to school and show and tell. She bought a little tax book with her.
I bought my tax book. I bought my tax flyers, my Pretty Girl Grind flyers. We definitely got to talk about that in a second. But what we got new coming out this year, we got the qualified business deduction, which gives you an extra 20% if you're a qualified business on your expenses. So say you make $100,000, you got expenses of about $25,000, so it brings your taxable income to $75,000. Where the qualified business deduction is going to give you an extra 20% on. So that's something new to help your small businesses. We have, how for the past couple years they were you was getting penalized if you didn't have health insurance. Some people was paying up to $1,500 and being penalized. They completely let that go.
That's good.
Man.
I think they were really people.
Thank you for telling me that. Because I just transferred a job and I lost my enrollment period. And I'm paying things out of my pocket now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And if the gap is open and you get fined, because Metro did give me a...
Yeah.
Thank you, Jesus.
Look, I'm in the building, and I apologize.
Yeah,
there was a severe accident on 65.
The weather.
But listen, we talked about this yesterday for like 35 minutes.
We did.
And, because, taxes can be boring sometimes. We're talking about taxes, right?
Yeah.
But people need to know. So we were talking about
don't know where you from, where taxes is boring. They live for that.
No, because no, look.
It's like the real black people Christmas.
Right.
Yeah, but I say taxes are boring. Like every year, the IRS introduces sometimes hundreds, but at least a couple dozen new tax laws, right? Every year. So every year, like something changes. So we were talking about like people like myself that are self-employed.
Yeah.
So when you're self-employed, people gonna hate to say it, but Trump was friendly to entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to tax code, Trump was friendly to entrepreneurs.
Correct.
But he's one of the biggest ones, so why would he be? Trump Tower, Trump this, Trump that, golf course.
Is that true? Just earlier today on his paper rally, he stated, this year, for each single person, kids going to receive $2,200 per kid. Is that true?
Okay, the way the child tax credit works, you can get up to $2,000 and $1,400 of it is refundable. So someone that makes $14,000, someone that makes $30,000, you won't know until you calculate them numbers.
Wow. So there are income restrictions for that?
It's based on your income. It's like a worksheet. And then if you make about $40,000, you're not in that EIC kind of bracket, so you automatically will get that $2,000 tax credit, but only $1,400 of it is refundable. That it's not a lot of refundable credits. You got your child tax credit and you got your EIC, but like dependent credit, educational credit, none of them are refundable. It just goes against your tax liability.
So for non-accountants, EIC is what, earned income credit?
Huh?
EIC is what, earned income credit?
Yes.
So how often, I know he was speaking on like the changes to the tax laws and stuff like that. So how often do they go, when do they go into effect?
They normally roll them out like October, November. So a lot of the things they're already in place for this year. Of course, we got the qualified business deduction. They're talking about IRA conversions, moving expenses, the personal exemption deduction. We got your standard deduction that kind of stayed the same. So what a personal exemption deduction means, like back in the day, probably about 4 or 5 years ago, say you claim your parent or your sister, your brother, to get them exemptions in order for your tax liability to go down. Well, what they did was they eliminated that exemption. Like if you had 4 children, you might get $3,900 per exemption. So that would add up against your tax liability. They eliminated that, but the way that they made up for it in my head was they raised the standard deduction. So now the standard deduction.
So wait a minute, look. You're using all these accounting terms. The average person has no idea what you're talking about, right? So let's say like this. Say I want to claim my niece on my taxes because she's lived in my house 6 months out of the year, right? Is that still a thing? Can I still do that?
If she lived in your house 6 months out the year, but of course they're going to want that proper documentation. So say your niece lives in your house, but her mother's still filing her to get the AC, the benefits of Section 8 or food stamps. Them systems are starting to interlock.
So they'll start catching people that are
yes. Them systems are starting to interlock. So they're really trying to crack down on the fraud.
So can 2 parents file one kid?
Not electronically. What will happen is, and it happens all the time, say they supposed to alternate every year, but they're like, no, they'll try to rush. So whoever files them first, it will get accepted. But if it's your right to file them that year, you come, bring your taxes, we print it out, we mail your proper documentation, and probably you'll get your money in like July. So don't give up just because they filed them. If it was your right to file them, we can still get it taken care of.
How would you know?
Because when
the court ordered, or it's just, that's what I'm saying. How would you know? Would it have to be court ordered, or if they found it 1 year, you like, I got next?
It would already be the agreement between the two. But what I'm saying is the way we know is once I submit that information electronically, the IRS will accept it or deny it. Okay, when we talk about the IRS goes live, that means they'll accept your return. When they accept your return, that doesn't mean your return was right. That means that your EIN numbers was correct. which is a electronic, employment number, and then it means that the social security number and name matches their database, and no one filed that dependent.
Okay.
So that's what happened.
That just means that your paperwork was accepted to get processed.
Right.
To get processed,
Right.
but now let me take a closer look. That's why when they go live January the 27th, they're not going to start issuing refunds until February the 15th.
So rapid refund is not a 7-day or 24-hour thing anymore.
Yes, but that's if you can process if the bank accepts it. So that's like a loan. The APR is 36.99%. 36.99%. That's only if you receive it within 30 days. If you don't get your refund within 30 days, it like tripled. So I just keep it
You
all.
paid a lot of money to get some money real fast.
I always keep it real with my people.
I can wait.
Come in and you want
wait.
that loan, of course I'm gonna offer it to you, but I'm gonna keep it all the way real with you. And
Because it's gonna get taxed way heavier than it would.
And I don't get that money; it goes to the bank. I would just get my tax fee. But we do have an advance at no cost to the customers, $500 to $1,000, and it's really no cost to the customer. I have to pay the marketing fee.
Is that just like independent tax services? Because I know like some people got up to $3,000.
I see somebody giving $9,000. So it all depends on that tax preparer, what company she goes with. Like the company I've been with them 10 years, went to the seminar this year. They gave me a jacket. They presented me with a leather jacket, my name stitched in it and everything.
You got your lifetime achievement award.
But I can switch banks if I want to. I'm just one of them people that if it ain't broke, but you can, it's about 6 different surrounding banks that processes, and it's approval process. We gotta send our fingerprints into the IRS, and they'll do, based on your credit, they'll look at your returns to see, what kind of returns you filed. Do you get a lot of rejections? So it's like a underwriting process.
Okay, so let's get into you. Ebonys Tax Service has been a business for 10 plus years?
12
Yeah,
years.
I've been doing taxes for 12 years. I've been at the office front for 6 years.
For 6 years. What guided you in the direction to become a tax preparer?
To be honest, I was riding down the street and I seen a billboard, and it was a Jackson Hewitt billboard, and said, like, I've always done numbers, went to school, in high school, I was the one that wanted to, be on the math. I was just
so you enjoy math?
Yeah, I enjoy numbers and I enjoy money. So, and then when I went and started getting my taxes done, I kind of seen the process. So I went to tax school, worked for Jackson Hewitt about 3 years. But while I was working at Jackson Hewitt, I was working for Republic Bank that analyzed tax returns to look for fraud. And it was a lady, I'll never forget her, still talk to her, Julie Withers. And she had me close to her arm and showed me so much about the tax game that it just excited me. And that's when I started doing it from my house, and eventually I left my 8-year career at the bank and just
Ebonys Tax Service was born, right?
Yes. And don't lie and say that you didn't see the money. People fast every year. Don't do that. Don't do that.
And you do it through the year though, so you help businesses throughout the year.
Well, I'm open 4 months out the year, but I have the office. So say you call me in May, June, July, I'm always in and out the office.
So,
but I don't do numbers all year. Like that's when I take the time to do my baseball, my pretty girl grind. I wanted to kind of. That's why, when I go in with the numbers, I go head first. But then I have to take a break from it because we're dealing with Black people and they money, so it's no game.
So what you're telling me is that 4 months out of the year allows you to chill the remaining 8 months.
I live a modest lifestyle. I live a modest lifestyle. I live a modest lifestyle. I don't drive a 2019. I stay within my guidelines.
So do you ever at any time have somebody set up a tax portfolio, like a small businesses? Can they come in and get consultation telling you what paperwork to keep, what paperwork not to keep, and
Yes.
stuff like
Business
that.
gets up and I do that. It starts at about $50 for a business.
Good job, what, per hour?
No.
Or just $50?
I'll start, depending on how much time,
Consultant.
Yeah.
Okay. So, we're rolling with the tax service, right?
Yeah.
I'm curious as what are the type of things that will trigger an audit? Because that's what we're all scared of. Everyone files taxes are terrified of an audit. What are some of the red flags that, or what's some of the things that people file a tax that can trigger an audit?
They're, especially with your small businesses that's not keeping accurate paperwork. They'll look at small businesses that receive cash. So your barbers, your beauticians, your lawn care services, because there's no tracking mechanism as far as
Verifying the income.
yeah. So they'll look at that. As long as you have your proper documentation, you'll be fine. So they'll look at business use of home to where a person might have a small business and they'll try to use that business use of home.
I'm laughing because that, like, I have the T. Marie Consulting in my business, but I found that on my personal taxes.
Yeah.
And my transactions are cash.
Yeah. So they
So
look at all of
what you have to do to have receipts, keep a log, a journal, how would you accommodate that?
I mean, a lot of times they have like online bookkeeping that you can keep up with it because the bookkeeping aspect is paying someone monthly. A lot of your small businesses just don't want to do it. So they'll try to track it and do it themselves.
Maybe they don't make enough money to pay somebody. But I mean, okay, like say for somebody who do cut grass, where the transaction is often hand to hand, money, you know what I'm saying?
Then you'll have to write it down or put it in the log.
Keep yourself a ledger.
But the burden's on you.
Okay.
So they come.
I mean, I keep, track of everything.
Yeah. yeah.
So I have invoices, I have receipts.
Yeah.
It's not the amount that I bring in and my expenses is not that big to where they're like, hold on, something ain't adding up. So
yeah, but once they really looking at the small businesses is bringing the hundreds of thousands in.
Yeah, I'm nowhere near that.
And then they break it all the way down so that they have a small business department that is solely for audit. And what they'll do is you'll submit your information, and like I said, everything can be on the straight and narrow. So they'll do an assessment and say, hey, I want you to provide this documentation. If you ignore that notice, they'll send you a bill for maybe $20,000. But all they're saying is, can you provide all this documentation that you submitted? And they'll give you a time to do it. So you submit that information and it all goes away. But if you don't submit that information, you'll be on their radar and you'll owe them a big tax bill. So the big thing is, don't get scared. Submit that information, talk with your tax consultant, and just make sure that what you put on your taxes, you're able to verify with the burden of proof.
So how much is it to hire you as a tax consultant?
Like right now, I'm kind of starting small with my bookkeeping. I haven't decided what price. It's going to be based on your transaction. So if you're a small business, you might not have to pay that much. A bigger business will have to pay a lot more.
So what if you're a small business and you ain't earned a penny, but you still got to get that 1099 form?
You won't have one.
Yeah.
Your 1099 is going to say how much.
Because I think every quarterly you have to put about $175 to the IRS.
No, that's for you talking about the Secretary of State, the $175 that you pay for your LLC. That's the Secretary. Is that what you're talking about?
See, I do business ads. I do DBA.
Sole proprietorship, and it's so many entities. And your sole proprietorship, it kind of really works like an LLC. You just have to pay that LLC because it's both funneled through your taxes. I know when SBA, they used to do like free classes, and they told us.
To talk in an acronym.
Small Business Association. The SBA is the Small Business.
I'm just saying, for the people who don't know,
right?
We got to break it down to the simplest forms because it's people starting businesses and they don't know.
Good luck.
We got about 10 minutes. We got to talk about Pretty Girl Grind. I can talk taxes all day long. I love it.
Right. Okay. So we'll get to the last tax question.
Okay.
So say we're talking about Tiana. So say when you and I talked yesterday, and your recommendation is that for people that run a personal business, that it's best to not file on your personal taxes. It's best to have 2 separate accounts and pay yourself.
Well, I'm saying that, and you'll have to look at your individual situation. But once you get in the income to your 75 to 100,000, you want to turn it into an Escort so that you can pay yourself, so you won't still be taxed at that higher rate. And that's something you'll look into. Thank you. That's something you'll look into per customer base. And that's something that I'm trying to learn more about right now.
I got a long way to go.
But we got to talk Pretty Girl Grand.
What's up, okay, what's up with Pretty Girl?
So let's go. So 4 months out of the year, you're Ebonys Tax Service. And then we have Pretty Girls Grind as, I won't call it a side hustle, as an additional endeavor.
Like I just, probably about a couple weeks ago, that was my dream when I was like in the 3rd, 4th grade, to be a fashion designer. And because I got attracted to the hustle and the grind with the money and the numbers, I forgot about it. But once I get back into, when I did that fashion show about 2 weeks ago, that's when I remember that I wanted to be a fashion designer.
So what is Pretty Girl Grind? Can you elaborate on what that is?
So Pretty Girls Grind is a clothing line that I started about 3 years ago. And basically, I'm in the process of finding my manufacturer so that it can be on my website. My website's already up. We just waiting on the product. So I'm actually trying to get the performance hoodies already made with the Pretty Girl Grind so that I can put them in your stores with the tag. You know, what I have on now is something that I selected from a store, and then I add it to it. Yeah, that's what I'm doing now, where I'll buy some wholesale hoodies and I'll add my flavor based on what color, based on shoes, just based on what my eyes see.
So Pretty Girls Grind is going to target what individual?
A pretty girl that's grinding.
So is this going to be urban wear, business wear? Like, what is
urban wear, business wear, club wear? I was in the club last night with a 1-piece blue jean jacket, Pretty Girl Grind. It can be corporate. I didn't wear Pretty Girl Grind, like if I wear like just a fitted dress, and I could put it right there. I didn't put it on leather jackets, back. I got some boots that say Pretty Girl Grind. It's no limit to it. However you want, rock it.
So how is the Pretty Girls Grind taking off? Are people receptive to the brand?
They are. I appreciate my city. They are. So I gotta leave here and go right in the lab and make some Pretty Girl Grind.
So Pretty Girls Grind is not male friendly. Is there?
Yeah, see, we had a discussion too.
It's coming, but it's one me, and I got so many things, and that's why I'm trying to rap because these millionaire visions, they rolling, but I gotta plan my work and work my plan. So a male line is definitely coming. Okay. But it's Pretty Girl Grind. I gotta stampede this one first.
Yeah. She came in here.
Nah, I had a powerful win, and it came to me. I called a friend, they didn't answer, and I lost the idea.
Vision?
No, I lost the vision. It was something with the P, and I remember prevails at the end, and it had a fist. But I don't remember what the first 2 words. I really don't remember. It came to me in a vision. I called a friend. They didn't answer, and I told them it was their fault.
So why didn't you write it down?
I don't know. That's why
But did this vision come to you in your dream or something? So Brad, what she did with us is she bought us some Ebony Tax Services.
Oh yeah.
And Tiana did these nice shirts and stuff.
She brought us the leftovers.
Yeah, she brought us the Tax Services.
I got this though.
You know what I'm saying? I like how they do that.
I want to see her in it. She's gonna look absolutely phenomenal.
Okay, so any advice? Because you seem like the female version of, you remember Hustle Man from Martin?
See, so
you have your hands in taxes and clothing and
she said she make music too.
And music. You sent me a file. You sent me a music file.
Yeah.
So you have your hands
I wish
music.
I would. I wanted y'all to hear it, but it slipped my mind.
So you have your hands in everything.
I do.
So for anyone out there that's aspiring to be an entrepreneur,
go for it.
Well, everybody can't just go for it. Everybody just
you do gotta have a dollar in a dream.
Okay.
So you're gonna have to plan your work and work your plan. I know SBA, Small Business Association, I think they're still located on Second. You heard of it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's free. And I promise you, I learned more going to them classes in 4 months than that 40,000 education, because they went right into the marketing of it. They even talked about the bookkeeping of it, because they didn't know I was gonna have a tax service. It was just for small businesses, so they write on. So something like that.
Were those classes free?
Yes, they were free. They were a small amount, like $5-10, but most of them are free. You got a business library on the York Street, so a lot of people want you to do that work for them. No, you got to do your work. You got to do the research. You gotta figure out. It's because if someone do all the legwork for you, you're not gonna understand what it takes to make it successful. So you definitely want to get your business plan, revisit that business plan, and try to get your financial security behind it through banks. I know they used to do. The city was doing where they'll help with kind of grants, the $20,000 that they were giving small businesses. Yeah.
I'd like to know about that too, about the small business.
We're gonna get you out of here, but I've been seeing you romancing on the gram. So is there a wedding in the future? I see you and your guy be on the gram on the beach.
We're not talking about that. We didn't go together no more. Why would you go there?
Wait a minute, it's over.
He broke up with me. Don't.
We'll
go there.
Oh, no. All right, until next time on Urban Voices.
Hey,
when did that happen?
It's Brad.
Right.
When did that happen?
Get out of girl's business.
4 months ago?
We got some questions
talking
as
about
far as marketing.
He's already in another relationship, so
we're not gonna be messing like it. We're gonna do that here. Tell people how they can reach you.
Yeah.
I can't believe you.
We're gonna
broke up.
Hey, they got some questions for you.
Yeah, somebody like as far as marketing, how do you? I think the question like how do you market yourself, or where do you market yourself on? Like what websites?
Social media. Social media.
Social media. We need handles.
Facebook, Instagram. I normally do a lot of the Facebook. I do a live every morning talking taxes, giving people an opportunity to
So what they find you
questions.
at on social media? Ebony Calloway?
Right.
Ebony Calloway. Instagram is, I have an Ebonys Tax Service Instagram. I got a Pretty Girls Grind Instagram. Yeah, that's my social media. I try to get flyers in the different small businesses.
So next time you have a fashion show or anything like that, reach out to us so we can stop by, show some support, show some love.
Okay.
Okay. So you said where we find it, what's that tax, where's your tax business at?
2214 West Market.
So if I get you 5 people, can we up that every time I bring somebody in? Can I get $5 more? Thank you for coming in. We greatly
Thank you for having me.
Shout out to Ebonys Tax Service. Follow her on Facebook at Ebony Calloway, Instagram at Ebonys Tax Service, and Pretty Girl Grind.
Yes.
You Snapchat, you Twitter,
No. I use a Snapchat filter.
Okay.
But I don't Snapchat. Thank you.
All right, we appreciate you, Eb. Thanks for